Sophie, something a bit awkward happened to me last week. I was at a coffee shop and a tourist asked me for directions.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, I understood everything he said perfectly, but then when I tried to answer, my mouth just froze. I couldn't get a single word out. It was so frustrating.
Oh, Ethan, I totally get that feeling. That frozen mouth moment. I bet many English learners, just like us here at the Easy English podcast, have been there too. I'm Sophie, by the way.
And I'm Ethan. And I guess I'm the one who often has these stuck moments for us to talk about together.
Exactly. And our goal here is to help you and everyone listening find ways to work through those tricky parts in your English-speaking journey. We want to explore those thoughts and feelings that stop us from speaking, even when we understand. It's strange, isn't it? How we can understand so much, but actually saying it feels like climbing a huge, invisible mountain.
Yeah, an invisible mountain, that's a good way to put it. So, what's the deal with this mountain, Sophie?
Well, Ethan, maybe today we can take a closer look at that mountain and figure out why it's there, and perhaps how to start building a bridge over it instead of trying to climb it.
Sophie, after that frozen mouth moment, I've been thinking, I actually understand a lot of English. I watch movies, I read articles. My vocabulary isn't too bad, I think. I even know some idioms.
That's wonderful, Ethan. Having a good understanding and a decent vocabulary is a fantastic start. It's like you've gathered a lot of beautiful building blocks. So, with all those great blocks, what do you think is the main hurdle when it comes to actually building something with them? I mean, speaking?
Well, I guess maybe I just need more confidence? That little push? Or perhaps learn some more advanced words? Those really impressive ones. Like, if I knew some super cool phrases, maybe the words would just flow out. I sometimes imagine myself speaking English so smoothly. Maybe ordering a complicated coffee, like James Bond.
James Bond ordering coffee. I like that image. It's good to have aspirations. So, you feel that if you had that extra dash of confidence or a pocket full of super cool phrases, that would be the magic key to unlock your speaking?
Yeah, I really think so. If I just felt more sure of myself or had those perfect words ready, it would make all the difference.
Okay, let's picture this, Ethan. Imagine you want to bake a beautiful, delicious cake for a friend. You go to the store and you buy all the best ingredients. The finest flour, organic eggs, the most expensive Swiss chocolate. You have everything you need spread out on your kitchen counter. The very best.
Sounds like a great cake already. So,
if you have all those amazing, top quality ingredients, does that automatically mean a perfect cake will just appear? Without you ever actually practicing the steps of baking, the mixing, the whisking, getting the oven temperature just right?
Well, when you put it like that, no, I guess not. You still need the recipe, the skills. You need to actually do the baking. The ingredients alone won't do it. That's interesting.
Exactly. The ingredients alone won't do it. Something to think about, perhaps, as we dive a little deeper.
Yeah, something to think about. That cake example has me wondering. Sophie, are you suggesting that my English ingredients, my vocabulary and grammar, might not be the main problem when I can't speak? Like, maybe my expensive Swiss chocolate isn't the issue?
Exactly. Your Swiss chocolate is probably delicious, but perhaps the problem isn't the ingredients at all. To explore that further, let me offer you another way to look at it. This one is about swimming. Are you a good swimmer, Ethan?
Swimming? let's just say I'm better at watching swimming than doing it. Why do you ask?
Perfect. Imagine you decide you want to become an Olympic swimmer. So, you dedicate yourself. You watch thousands of hours of videos, Michael Phelps, swimming tutorials, even documentaries about synchronized swimming, just for good measure.
Synchronized swimming? Okay, I'm with you so far.
You read every book ever written on swimming techniques. You could probably win a quiz show about swimming. You understand everything about it. The hydrodynamics, the perfect butterfly stroke, how to breathe like a dolphin.
Right. I'd be a swimming genius on paper. I'd know all the theory. I could probably even coach someone from the side of the pool.
Precisely. A genius coach from the sidelines. But then, Ethan, after all that expert knowledge, if I playfully tossed you into the shallow end of a very calm, very warm swimming pool, would you glide across like Michael Phelps? Or would you, perhaps, create a rather enthusiastic splash and maybe swallow a little water?
Okay. I see where this is going. Splash! Definitely a big splash. I'd probably look more like a confused dog than Michael Phelps. Swallowing water? Absolutely.
So, even with all that knowledge, all that theory, the actual doing is different, right?
Completely different. It's not about knowing what to do. It's about actually doing it. My brain knows, but my arms and legs would have no idea. So, all that watching English.
All that watching English, as you put it, is fantastic for understanding. You learn to recognize good English, just like you'd recognize a good swimmer. But when you watch those swimmers, are your muscles working? Are you out of breath?
No, not at all. I'm probably eating popcorn while watching. My muscles are definitely very relaxed.
And there's the key, Ethan. Watching or listening is input. It's like filling up your knowledge tank. But speaking is output. It's a skill, like learning to ride a bike or, well, swim. You have to actually do it, practice those speaking muscles until they get strong and respond automatically. It's not just about having great ingredients or knowing the swimming theory. It's about the action, the practice of putting it all together.
Oh, my goodness. That's it. That is so it. So, all this time, I've been collecting the world's best swimming goggles and the fanciest swimsuits, thinking that would make me a swimmer. But I never actually got in the water and, flailed around a bit to learn.
Exactly. You were perfectly equipped to look like a swimmer, but the swimming itself is a different game.
I feel so silly, but in a good way. Like a huge weight has just been lifted. It wasn't that I was a bad swimmer in my head. I just never practiced the actual swimming part. My speaking engine was always off. This thing needed a jump start, not just more fuel.
And now you know how to find the keys to that engine, Ethan. It's about starting it, even if it sputters a bit at first. The important thing is that you're ready to turn the key.
Absolutely. I'm ready to make some splashes. This is a game changer, Sophie. Seriously. Thank you. I feel like I can actually do something now, instead of just worrying about not being good enough. Okay, Sophie. That swimming analogy, seriously, mind-blowing. I feel like a huge light bulb just went on. I get it. Speaking is a skill I need to practice, not just know about.
That's a fantastic realization, Ethan. Understanding that difference is the first giant leap.
Yeah, a giant leap in my head, but then my feet still feel kind of stuck to the ground when I think about actually practicing. It's like, okay, I know I need to get in the pool, but the water still looks a bit scary.
Scary in what way, Ethan? What comes to mind when you think about practicing your speaking?
Well, for starters, there's this little voice in my head, the mistake police. As soon as I even think about saying something in English, this tiny officer pops up with a giant red pen, ready to circle every single error.
The mistake police, huh? I think many of us have met that officer a few times.
Exactly. And he's very strict. And then there's the audience. Even if it's just one person, or even if I'm just talking to myself and my cat is listening, I imagine this panel of super serious judges, like in a talent show, holding up scorecards. Grammar, 3 out of 10. Pronunciation, needs improvement. It's terrifying.
So, a fear of making mistakes and a fear of being judged. Those are very common, Ethan. Very understandable. What else makes the water look scary?
Well, you mentioned practicing, right? And I get that. But if I practice by myself, just talking to the wall or my long-suffering rubber duck, it feels a bit silly, to be honest. And who's going to tell me if I'm making the same mistakes over and over again? How do I know if I'm swimming in the right direction or just splashing more enthusiastically?
That's a fair question. The how to get feedback and is this actually working part?
Yeah, and all these small steps you might suggest, like, say, just naming objects in English. Okay, I can say table, chair, window. Great. But how does that get me from here to, actually having a conversation? It feels like trying to cross the ocean in a teaspoon. It's gonna take forever, and I'm not sure I'll ever get there.
The ocean in a teaspoon? I can see why that would feel overwhelming and a bit hopeless. So, a lot of buts and what ifs are popping up now that the initial aha has settled.
Exactly. It's like my brain says go, but my heart, or maybe my very cautious inner voice, is screaming, but wait, are you sure about this? What about this scary thing and that scary thing?
Ethan, thank you for sharing all those buts and what ifs. That mistake police in your head, the panel of imaginary judges, the feeling of talking to a rubber duck. I promise you, you are not alone in feeling all of that. So many learners, myself included back then, have had those exact same thoughts and fears. It's like a standard equipment that comes with language learning, unfortunately.
Really? You too, Sophie? Even the rubber duck part?
Maybe not the rubber duck specifically, but definitely the feeling of, is anyone listening? And am I just sounding silly? Yes, absolutely. And it's completely normal.
But if I keep making mistakes, doesn't that mean I'm not learning? Or I'm a bad learner?
Ethan, let's reframe that, shall we? What if making mistakes doesn't mean you're a bad learner? What if, actually, making mistakes means you are a brave learner?
Brave? How so?
Because it means you're trying. It means you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Every mistake is a sign that you're actively engaging. You're experimenting. You're doing the swimming, not just watching. Think of a baby learning to walk. Do they get it perfect on the first try?
No, they fall down a lot.
Exactly. They stumble, they fall, they bump into things. But each fall, each wobble is a lesson. It's data. It's them figuring out balance and movement. Mistakes in speaking are just like that. They are not failures. They are feedback. They are stepping stones.
Stepping stones, not red marks from the mistake police? That's, very different way to look at it.
So, Ethan, from this moment on, I want to officially give you and everyone listening who feels this way a golden permit.
A golden permit? What's that for?
It's a golden permit to be imperfect. A permit to make mistakes, to sound a little clumsy sometimes, to not always have the perfect word. It's a permit to be a learner, a human learner, who is bravely trying something new and challenging. Your goal right now isn't to sound like James Bond ordering coffee.
Right. Definitely not James Bond yet.
Your goal is to connect, to express a little bit of yourself, to take one small step in the pool. And this permit says that is more than enough. That is wonderful.
A golden permit to be imperfect. I really like that, Sophie. It feels like a heavy backpack I've been carrying has just been unzipped. But what about that feeling of crossing the ocean in a teaspoon? How do I know I'm actually making progress if I'm just splashing around with small things?
Ah, the teaspoon and the ocean. Let's redefine progress, too. Progress isn't always about giant leaps. Sometimes, progress is simply daring to say, hello, when you wanted to stay silent. Progress is trying to form one new sentence with a word you just learned, even if it's not perfect. Progress is noticing, oh, I used to be scared to even think about speaking, and now I'm actually trying to name objects around me.
So, even the tiniest splash counts?
Every single splash counts, Ethan. Every ripple you make in that water is you moving forward. You don't have to swim the entire ocean today. Just getting your feet wet, then maybe your knees, then trying a little paddle. That's all progress. And that's something to be incredibly proud of.
Sophie, that golden permit to be imperfect is, honestly, the best gift I've received in a long time. I feel like I can finally breathe when I think about speaking English. The mistake police are on vacation.
I'm so glad to hear that, Ethan. Let's hope they take a very, very long vacation. So, now that you have your permit and the ocean in a teaspoon doesn't seem so daunting, are you ready to think about maybe dipping a toe in that practice pool?
Absolutely. I'm ready to make some tiny splashes. So, what's the first baby splash I can make? Where do I even begin to build the speaking bridge?
Okay, let's start with something incredibly small, something you can do today, in a completely safe space with zero pressure. Remember our swimming analogy? Before you even try a stroke, you just get used to the water, right?
Right, just float a bit maybe.
Exactly. So here's your first float. Tonight, or whenever you have a quiet moment alone, I want you to choose one very simple English sentence you heard today. Maybe from a song, a show, or even something I said. Just one short sentence.
Okay, just one sentence like, it's a sunny day?
Perfect. And then, I want you to just say it out loud to yourself. 3 times. That's it. Not trying to be perfect, not analyzing it, just letting the sounds come out of your mouth. Think of it as waking up your speaking muscles very gently, like a tiny stretch.
That's it? Just say, it's a sunny day 3 times? That sounds almost too easy. I was expecting some complicated grammar exercise.
Sometimes the most powerful things are the simplest, Ethan. We're not aiming for complexity right now. We're aiming for action, for breaking that initial silence, for getting your engine to make its first little put-put sound. Does that feel doable?
Doable? That feels excitingly doable. Like, I can actually tick that off a list today. Make engine go putt-putt. Check.
Wonderful! And as you keep doing these small putt-putts, these tiny actions, something amazing starts to happen. Think about walking through a field of tall grass. The first time, it's a bit difficult. You have to push the grass aside.
Yeah, it's slow going.
But if you walk that same path every day, what happens?
Oh, a little path starts to form. The grass gets worn down. It becomes easier to walk.
Precisely. That's your speaking bridge, Ethan. Each time you say a word, a sentence out loud, you're treading that path. The more you tread it, even with small steps, the clearer, wider, and easier that path becomes. It becomes a well-worn trail in your brain, connecting what you know to what you can say. It's no longer a dense forest. It's an inviting path.
A well-worn trail. I love that. So it's not about one giant effort, but lots of little steps, making my own path, day by day, even if it's just a few putt-putts or a few steps on the trail each time.
Exactly. Consistency with small, manageable actions is far more powerful than sporadic bursts of overwhelming effort. You're not building an entire highway overnight. You're starting by clearing a little bit of that trail each day. And soon, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've walked.
I'm ready to start clearing my trails, Sophie. I'm actually excited about it now, not scared. Those splashes are gonna be fun. You know, Sophie, I was just thinking about that tourist at the coffee shop last week, the one who asked me for directions, and I just froze.
Yes, I remember. How do you feel about that moment now?
Well, I still wish I could have helped him better, of course. But now, I don't feel frustrated or embarrassed about it anymore. I just see it as, well, the moment I realized my swimming pool was empty, and I needed to start filling it one tiny splash at a time. Maybe next time, if someone asks, I can at least manage sorry, I'm not sure, but I hope you find it. That would be a huge first step on my trail.
That would be a wonderful first step, Ethan, and a very brave one. Every splash, every word, every attempt to connect, no matter how small, is you building your bridge, laying down those first stones on your well-worn trail.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you felt that frozen mouth moment too, just know you're not alone. And your golden permit to be imperfect is officially active.
Absolutely. We here at the Easy English Podcast believe that everyone can build their own bridge to confident speaking, one small, brave step at a time.
So, start laying those first stones, make those first splashes. We'd love to hear about your journey if you feel like sharing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for listening to the Easy English Podcast. We hope you feel a little lighter, a little more hopeful, and ready to take that next small step. Until next time, keep building!